You mentioned Hope earlier, and your first experience was walking to
Yes.
the center, and now you're the executive director. Tell me about that journey from that point. I mean, it might have been how many years since you walked to now being the executive director?
It took 12 years.
12 years. Okay. Well, quite a journey. Lots of things happened between then and
Yes.
then, but it is a special place. I've been there when I was in college and met families that I still hold memories. It was life-changing. What drew you back there to the Hope Center after working with the city of Orlando?
The reason why I ended up at Hope goes back to spirituality for me. I was at the city of Orlando. I was the LGBTQ liaison and worked on immigrant rights. Politically speaking, the state started looking more and more conservative. And I just felt like as immigrants, we didn't have enough of a platform, honestly. I just thought that. And I felt a great sense of responsibility, knowing that I had tools that I had learned over the years, but I didn't know exactly how to kind of like take action on it, right? But the position for the executive director position became opened, and 5 different people from different circles, right? So Andrea, who works at Hope, Marco Quiroga with the Contigo Fund, Tatiana Quiroga with Come Out with Pride, all of them started texting me and saying, hey, you should apply. Especially Tatiana. Tatiana was so insistent. She said, our community needs you and you need to go there. That's what it's, and I was like, I don't know. It was like, oh, Sister Anne is so amazing. I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can fill those big shoes,
Yes.
And no, Tatiana was so insistent. She was like, no, you have to apply. So, I felt like, okay, so there's definitely a sign of God. The universe is telling me something. And I went to Luisa's mom, my mother-in-law, and asked for advice. I was like, look, I am working at the city of Orlando and I work for the mayor and I like that. But here's this other opportunity and I don't know, I feel like a calling towards it. All these people are telling me to do. What do you think I should do? And she said, let's ask God for a sign.
Love that. I love that.
So I was like, okay, let's do it. It's just like, so we went to church.
Okay.
We went to a church in Azalea Park, and she said, okay, here we are. Let's pray. So we prayed. And then the pastor, right, came and opened up the Bible and read the story of Jeremiah. The exact moment that Jeremiah gets his calling. And I'm super paraphrasing now, right?
Sure. No, we don't expect the whole.
Jeremiah, God shows up to Jeremiah, which I would imagine being like super surprised, right?
Yes. What a sign.
He's like, whoa. And then God says, okay, I chose you, right?
Yes.
And then Jeremiah says, God, I don't even know how to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
That deep feeling of inadequacy,
Yes.
right? Here is your big purpose in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you just don't feel that you measure up for it, right? That's how you feel. That's how I felt. And then God says, no, I chose you before you were even born. I'll put the words in your mouth. I'll guide your feet. I started crying, right?
Makes me want to cry now. It's beautiful. Yes.
And then the pastor priest came up and he was like, we must fight against injustices. We must fight against the injustices happening to immigrants. Wow. I came home, wrote the cover letter of cover letters.
You were inspired.
Yes. I think everyone thinks of a cover letter. I mean, we're taught. You write a one-pager.
Yeah.
1 page and a half at most, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're saying, I know how to do this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I wrote a 5-page essay. The president of the board called me up, right, the next day. She said, after I read your letter and saw your resume, I put all the applications to the side. Can you come talk to us? So I did, right? I went to Hope that Saturday. I promise you, Lex, I was there and I saw myself walking into Hope on foot with my big curly hair, don't care. The younger version of myself,
Yeah.
walking in just full of hope, right? And finding a safe haven like I hadn't experienced yet. And I was sitting in the car and thought, wow, this is full circle. So I walked in, Sister Ann is right there waiting for me, gives me the biggest hug and says, Felipe, this is full circle. And I just knew I was in the right place in the right time. So now when you go to Hope, there is a sign in the community room where I slept that says Felipe slept here. And right across from it is my office.
You were called for this time.
Exactly.
And in the tradition of even whatever, Catholic, we're taught that we are called for a time such as this.
Yes, yes.
And that our inadequacies are really just the tools that will propel us to go further, because it's not about us. It's about the calling and about what the purpose of what we're called to do. Thank you for sharing that. You made me cry. But it's powerful. Tony had a question from behind the camera.
So my question goes along with you seeing yourself, where you slept the first time you came to the center. What would you tell little Felipe when he's about to get onto the airplane?
The younger version of me was afraid. Didn't know where things would go. Honestly, didn't even understand the magnitude of what was really happening in the moment. But I had a lot of hope. I had all my dreams. I've always had big dreams and believed that, something could be possible, right? And especially after I arrived and I felt alone and isolated, I would tell that younger version of myself, you matter. And you are possible. And your dreams will come true. And you will be connected to your purpose in a way that you yet to understand. And you were made for this. So embark in this journey and the obstacles you're going to face, and it's not going to be easy at all.
Right.
But you will be a vehicle for change.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Tony. It's a great question.
No dry eyes in the room.
Right. Yes.